Done? Okay. Um, if you notice me speaking a little bit weirdly, it's because I have a couple of mouth ulcers and they are a little bit uncomfortable. Um, so today, um, I don't think I feel at my greatest, even though I'm honoring how I feel right now. I think I can describe it as low energy connected to deep self reflection about life and the point of being alive. I'm not in this kind of energy or in this particular phase in my life at this moment where I think I'm experiencing a mild existential crisis. It happens to me every few months, and normally they don't last for many days. Normally not. Lately, in the past years, they don't last for long. I come out of them pretty quickly. Um, and the way that I feel right now, the best way that I can describe it is quite indifferent towards being alive on this planet. Um, I could force myself to be in a different kind of energy or state of consciousness, but I don't think I have to. I think it's best, at least in my experience and who I want to become as a human, I think it's best that when something comes up for me that feels important or existential, I'd better look at it, even if it's uncomfortable and it's not trendy, because being in a low energy is not trendy, has never been. Um, it's more trendy being violent. That's kind of funny. Violent has always been normal to a certain extent, of course. And but being in a low energy or in a very reflective mode, no, not it's not. And when you live inside a female body and you're not disconnected from your nature, it's rather common that you find yourself more or less for a week per month in a low energy state. You don't have to be super reflective as I am right now about yourself and life and the meaning and the point of it, but for sure you're going to go into a more intimate and reflective mode. And it's a very good time, it's a very interesting time, just like any other, to explore life from a different perspective and look at yourself and your own life with small letters, um, just from a different perspective. And whether we like it or not, for for those of us who are living in a female body or identify as women or whatever, this happens very, very often, monthly, I would say. Um, and if we look at this and we embrace it with the right energy, then it can be very productive actually. Productive, not in terms of materially, existentially again, can bring a great insight about who you truly are, who do you want to become as a human, because here you have the opportunity to change and you have the opportunity to evolve and you have the opportunity to experience your own growth, or your own decay if you don't care about growth. And if you look at it closely, then you can get to choose what kind of path you want to be in. You cannot control what life throws at you. Definitely is connected with your mindset and your soul's journey. It's not just about mindset. Um, and I think many people on a spiritual journey are very limited in this, with this view, wanting to make you all responsible for everything that happens to you as a human, as if the plan that the soul had in advance was not predominant in what happens to you in your life. So to a certain extent you have control, and from another perspective, a very, very highly spiritual perspective, even if we think we have free will, because we are so conditioned by our subconscious mind and external energies and the soul and the path soul and everything, we actually don't have much of a free choice. We think we do, but we're actually acting from our own psychoemotional patterns. Many spiritual teachers agree on this. I agree on this, and at the same time I think that it makes a difference to our lives what we choose, and if we care to be aware, and if we care to be conscious and focused on creating a life outside that is representative of how we experience ourselves within, matching the inner and the outer world, even though the outer world is just an illusion. So everything is relative and everything can be looked at from infinite perspectives. So just choose whichever are more aligned with you at this moment of your life, and also be open to receive and to embrace and connect with others in the future, in the now future. And so coming back to the beginning of the video where I was sharing with you that I was feeling in a rather low energy. It's not too low, but it's low, and quite indifferent about being alive. It's true for me right now. I have realized that if I don't get to serve humanity in a way that I feel is quite relevant, and it's not dependent on the number of people that I help, it's an inner perception that I would have, and coming from my gifts, so that I can be serving humanity through being myself and making a difference at a local or global scale. That feels very important to me. And getting to enjoy myself, enjoying myself also on a material plane. So that would be metaphysical. I also want to enjoy myself physically, meaning I want to be financially independent, and I want to earn enough money to be able to invest it in the things, again, that are important to me. It's not that I can't live with them, it's that I want to live with them because they're meaningful to me, such as being able to travel around the world frequently, to attend retreats by people that are very inspiring to me, creating my own retreats and gatherings, having my coaching, mentoring business, or multidimensional consultancy business, experiencing a beautiful, wonderful partner, sharing my life with someone, and maybe others, having a house in the mountains and near close to a body of water. Could be a lake or a river, could be the sea. It's less likely that it is the sea close to the mountains, but it has to be a body of water close to the house, to my home. And being in all kinds of relationships with beautiful people, people who are loving, people who are humble, people who are creative and peaceful, revolutionary humans, and who care about this world and who care about humanity. This is pretty much as I can imagine it right now, and I have been for several years already, my ideal life as a human. Also, I have greater projects in mind. The moment that I would be able to um, make a good living out of my own business, I would also want to be collaborating and creating other businesses or establishments or movements to expand human consciousness and creating more loving spaces for people to gather and to express themselves fully and freely. And making a difference also at a governmental level, lovingly pushing to pass new laws and to create a more natural world for all of us, from an economic perspective, from an environmental perspective. I mean, economy is just touching everything in life, so that the economy can really serve us and can really help take care of everyone. Otherwise, it's harmful. So, who cares about making a lot of money and then not being happy or destroying themselves or their sisters and brothers? Money is not going to bring happiness to anyone or fulfillment or being in a delusional position of control in society, which is only in your mind. You think you are important, controlling people, or you know. So that's my ideal life as Maria on this planet. Whether it's going to take a form or not, exactly like that or very close to it, I don't know. But I would really like it. And then, of course, experiencing a healthy body, of course. And through everything that I mentioned, it would be my spiritual growth. For me, it would be the expansion of my consciousness, will be a constant goal or aspiration. Not obsessively. The liberation of myself from my unconscious self, so that I can experience myself more and more free, more and more loving, more and more powerful from within, and turn that power into creativeness, creating things that other people can admire or they can benefit from one way or another. If none of that happens, that I can feel that I'm really serving humanity, or that I am enjoying life on a physical level in the way that I want to, I wonder what's the point of being here. This is where I am right now. This is what I'm being forced in a way to reflect on. And there is no perfect answer. There is no escape from here, whether my ideal life is going to take a form or not, or when. Again, unless we choose to take our own lives, which is not my intention, then we're just here, and we have to deal with being here and being who we are. And sometimes, if we're quiet, it's not pleasant to sit with these existential thoughts. It's not very unpleasant either for me at this point, because I have been doing it for so long. For many people I know, it would be very painful and very, very distressing, just because they're not used to it. It requires a lot of self-acceptance and external acceptance of life as it is. It is such a paradox. I can experience the world as being completely fucked up, and at the same time observe it and think it's perfect exactly as it is, just because it is being the way it's being. And not only from my perspective, from whichever perspective, it would be perfect. Because your perspective matters as much as it doesn't matter. Everything on the physical plane is dual, and once you transcend the physical plane, everything is paradoxical. But the difference between dual and paradoxical is that the dual is either this or that. In the paradoxical, in a paradoxical paradigm, it's this and that. It's a more beautiful one, I believe. But then from the dual, you can learn so much, because you are constantly in extremes, and you are offered the opportunity to find yourself in the middle way, to look for that middle way for yourself. But you get to experience the extremes. Sometimes it's inevitable, and sometimes by choice you're doing that. Or out of your subconscious patterns. It's great when you wake up to God consciousness and to the realization that you're not your body and you're not your mind. And that you're not a material thing, not just a material thing. It's great because it gives you freedom to a certain extent, again. I know that I am limited by whatever the soul plan was for this life, and by the social conditioning that I have been under since I was born as Maria on this planet and in this time of history, of human history. But as much as I can do while being alive here to remove the layers of my social conditioning where I feel forced to be normal, to fit in my cultural environment, to protect myself from being hurt, to be unconsciously rude or unloving to other people, self-depreciating myself in silence and not being aware of it. Not being capable to tap into my core energy and express that wonderful energy, that uniqueness and beauty that comes with it. Those are the layers that for sure, whether I think is cool to be on earth as a human or not, those are the layers that I want to be removing since I'm already here and since I want to make the most of this life. Even if it is just to suffer less, I'm on it. So I guess the final conclusion for today, not about my existential quest, but of this video maybe, sharing all of this with you, is embrace yourself in whichever energy you find yourself and that it feels that is kind of relevant. Not that you're just ruminating about something that someone did to you and hating yourself or hating others. It's best to come out of that energy as soon as possible and then calmly reflect on why you're hating whatever you're hating. But when you find yourself in a more reflective mode or kind of indifferent, sarcastic, I have been finding also myself quite sarcastic and skeptical as well. I guess it's good also to look into that. Take the time to look into that. And however you come out of that and whichever conclusions you reach, I am of the belief that it's better, no matter what, that you continue to be who you are to the highest level that is possible to you, because that's the way that you're going to experience more harmony in this world. Maybe not outside or not in the beginning, but definitely inside. And since you have to be living within this vessel, that's a very intelligent thing to do. Love you. Stay wise and wild.